Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and this is your first of 4 fan-requested Friday matches. 2014 Dexter Jackson, Mr. Olympia versus Brandon Curry, Arnold's Classics 2019. Now Dexter, he was still young here. He was 45, I think, something like that. But he was still, Dexter the Blade Jackson. There was Kai Green around, Phil Heath, Dennis Wolf, guys like that. And he was, you know what I mean, he was passing Brandon Curry. Here, you didn't even see Brandon Curry in his sights, I am sure, at this point. So he was always placing ahead of him. But this is kind of a changing of the guards here. By 2019, Curry was placing ahead of Dexter the Blade Jackson. But could Curry defeat this version of Dexter Jackson? Dexter looks pretty good, I have to say. Maybe not the torso. I like the Brandon Curry, that V-taper. Very impressive. The lats. Curry, very underrated, guys. He's the Olympia champion, so I guess you can't really say he's underrated, but you know what I mean. They criticize him. He's a good bodybuilder. Small calves. Dexter the Blade Jackson, there is definitely a hard crispness of those biceps. I definitely like those arms. So it's not a total blowout for Brandon Curry in this first pose, like I had presumed. In this pose, I would give this one most certainly to Curry. He leans back. I take some height away, even though Curry's maybe even taller than Dexter Jackson, back to back. But I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. Dexter Jackson stands a lot taller in poses, standing next to guys like Phil Heath. Certain poses, he's almost the same height. But in actuality, he's a lot shorter. Like I said, he stands tall. He explained this, that he's actually shorter than Sean Ray. But in most poses, you would swear Ray was at least an inch shorter than Dexter the Blade Jackson. And like I said, guys, how you stand, how you present your physique, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how tall you are. It is how tall you are on stage. But enough about that, guys. We don't really need to start a whole Sean Ray, Dexter Jackson feud again, do we? Or do we? Side chest development. And keep in mind, this is probably Dexter's best pose, other than maybe his back shots. But this one here, one of his best. And in the Dexter Jackson, evolution of Dexter Jackson video that I made, this 2014 version, very good, maybe underrated, good condition, but maybe a little small. And from the side chest pose versus the other versions of Dexter, he was very lean, and I think the display of that, he wasn't quite tilted enough maybe, but hey, Curry might be tilted too much, a little bit too much. I'm kind of picky when it comes to that. But man, those tie-ins, the quality of Dexter Jackson, I'd give him an edge on that. But size-wise, Curry has it. When I look at the legs, though, guys, the muscle separation, Dexter the Blade Jackson has this one. He's supreme. He looks like a more conditioned version of Brandon Curry when you look at the legs. Of course, Curry, huge legs, just not as conditioned. So it was close in the front double bi. It was close. It's close here. I would give Curry the front lat. There is no side tricep, so you know what, guys? It probably would have went to Curry. So this is going to be a best case Ontario situation for Dexter the Blade Jackson. And when we look at the back developments, I would pretty much give an edge to Dexter the Blade Jackson. His back development, the muscle separation, much greater. And he's not that much more narrow, if any. He might even be wider. Well, no, the more I look, Brandon Curry's probably wider. But he just has I'm not going to call it soft. It sounds disrespectful. He's not soft by any means, but I mean, in this comparison, Dexter looks harder. He looks better conditioned. And muscle separation, like I said, I'm going to actually go ahead and give Dexter a victory in the rear lat spread. That's crazy. Rear double bi. The same thing, guys. Condition-wise, you got to think, this is Dexter the Blade Jackson 2014. Did not mess around. And like I said, the evolution of Dexter the Blade Jackson, this version stood out. It really did, especially in the back shots because of his conditioning. Look at that tight condition. And if you look at the calves, I didn't mention the calves much in this matchup. Neither guy at all good in that department. But Dexter, you know what? He's not as bad as y'all would say. And Dexter says y'all a lot, I think. But either way, guys, he is getting an edge coming out of the back department. Abs and thigh. This one could go either way. It honestly could. Dexter, maybe a slight bit of stomach distension. Hey, the guy's 45 years old. You don't mind. And you have to understand something. To get as full, big as these guys are, Dexter's not the biggest man in the world, so he has to really probably carb up big time to get all those veins going and to be as full as he is. Now, like I said, a little bit full, and Brandon Curry, just a dreamlike midsection. You see that? Flows perfectly. But a little bit too smooth in the abs, a little too smooth gorilla, ha-ha, as Jesse the Body Ventura would say. Look at the muscle separation of Dexter. Some of the best ab and thigh poses in the bodybuilding history, I'm telling you. Him from 2008, 2004, nobody beat him. And even in here in 2014. Not bad. And it is Fan Request Friday, guys, and you know I'm a little bit loose, a little bit political. Go to the most muscular. And Dexter, he could be winning this one on traps alone. I will say, Brandon Curry's wide. He's huge, big arms, massive arms. But Dexter, he has a good old-fashioned quality of those muscles. Just seems to pop. You know what I mean? Look at those traps. Looks like they're going to separate from his body, become its own entity. I believe it would be one big piece. One big trap would come back. With two humps. A two-hump camel. What do you call a camel with no humps? Humphrey. Or a horse. Anyway, guys, this is Fan Requested Friday. A little bit loose on the judging, but hey, I honestly see it this way. Dexter the Blade Jackson is your winner. I think that if he brought this version to the Olympia stage this year, guys, he could very well win the title. You never know. It could happen at 50 years old. He could beat Phil Heath. If Phil Heath comes in soft, hey, you never know. Anyway, guys, that is your first of 4 Fan Requested Friday matches. Hit thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Have a fantastic weekend.